Hi guys, Kamal with Mac here on another video. This is a partnership accounting. Cambridge O-Level and IGCSE students can attend this, and also this will be helpful for students who are doing Excel as well. So before we move on to this content, I want to inform how much marks this can be tested. Most of the time, a partnership is tested for 20 marks on your exam papers. Either it can be an IGCSE or either it can be a Cambridge O-Level paper. Or if you take a partnership in Cambridge oral paper, rarely it can be once in a blue moon tested because the new paper structure is a bit different. But then if you take IGCSE every year, it can be tested completely a sure shot sum. But in partnership, if you don't get tested in Cambridge O level, they might be testing those things in paper one if they are not testing in paper two. So let's move on to the topic without wasting your time. But before we move on, to learn with me more, you just need to do one particular thing: subscribe the channel and also hit the bell button. The like is also not that costly, so I hope you can also like the video if you really like this. I have planned to upload the entire syllabus soon as possible because many of the students are requesting from different countries that the entire textbook should be done, which will be very easy. The channel's main scope is to teach the entire world commerce related subjects at free cost, and I'm trying my best every day something new. So let's start with the first one. A partnership is a business in which two or more people work together as owners with a view of making profits. So what is a partnership? When two people get together or 2 to 20 people maximum get together to earn a profit, and when they are working as a team, we say it as partnership. We will learn partnership deeper in business studies, but then that doesn't go that deeper how the registration procedures happen or how a partner is having how a partners should have their rights and duties and responsibilities are not tested in accounting. So what you need to remember about partnership is about the definition and the advantages as well as disadvantages. The early chapters, so I don't want to speak about early chapters related to business which were owned by only one person. Another very common form of business is a partnership. A partnership is a business in which two or more people work together as owners with a view to making profits. Normally, there cannot be more than 20 partners in a business. Professional people such as accountant, and solicitors often operate as partnerships. A large number of family businesses also run as partnerships. Sometimes a new business is formed as a partnership. Sometimes a partnership is formed when a sole trader wishes to expand his business. Sometimes a partnership is formed when two or more sole traders agree to amalgamate their business. So the terms in accounting, you should be very careful when you're learning these things. So the particular thing is like accountants, solicitors can become partners, or family business people can become partners. When partnership needs some more people to add into their business, they can become partners. And also you can expect that when they are combining two business together, you can become a partnership business. But then what is the basic thing of recording? What is recording partnership and preparing income statement is important in a partnership? Of course it's a no, it's a complete no, it's not that important. But then according to UK, of course, it's very important to prepare partnership accounts to know how much the business is actually making, the turnover rates. The partnership business will maintain double entry records in the same way as a sole trader. At the end of the financial year, an income statement and a statement of financial position are prepared. However, a partnership will prepare an extra account after the income statement. This is known as profit and loss appropriation account. So I'm going to teach you today main three types of accounting: profit and loss appropriation account, capital account, current account. So these three accounts are very important when you are preparing partnership. With these three accounts only, a partnership is going to be much based. So we're going to learn today how to record these things in a profit and loss account. In exams, sometimes you will get from the profit and loss account, under the profit and loss account, the sum will be going on. Or in exams, you will be starting appropriation account in a different way. Into the advantages and disadvantages of partnership business. You might see here, before agreeing to enter into partnership business, a person must consider the likely advantages and disadvantages of such an arrangement. The advantages and disadvantages are summarized as follows. So you might know that in business studies, you would have learned partnerships advantages and disadvantages. Writing those advantages and disadvantages still can give you marks on your exam. So you might see here the advantages and the disadvantages they have plotted here. Additional finance is available when two or more people get together with you to do the business. Then, of course, you have enough money to do the business. Profits have to be shared among the partners is a disadvantage. When you earn a profit, then of course another partner should also will also ask your monies. a breakage, a part of the profit is always going to be a hard thing to give to another partner. Additional knowledge, expertise, and skills are available is an advantage. When one partner takes a wrong decision, other partner can guide most of the time. But then disadvantages, decisions have to be recognized by all partners. If they have taken a decision, every partner should agree to those decisions, and then only a decision should be taken. The responsibilities are shared is an advantage because one person cannot do everything at one time, so they divide the responsibility between these people and they share the responsibilities. But then disadvantages, decision may take longer to put into effect, but because there are a lot of people on the business, it's very hard to put a decision and execute it. The risks are shared, so normally you might see that the risk can be shared, like no, not a single person is bearing the loss, everyone should bear the loss. But then on the other side, one partner's action on behalf of the business are binding on all partners. If one partner is involving in an illegal business trading activity, then the other partners also fall into this category and they are also in the trouble. Discussions can take place before decisions are taken. So you can speak and come to a good decision, but then disagreements can occur as disadvantages. All partners are responsible for debt of the business. So if there's a liability, everyone should pay. That's a part of disadvantage. So we say that's unlimited liability. You would have learned this. Unlimited liability means where the owners of the business should also sell their shares, should also sell the the resources to pay the debts what they have taken behalf of the partnership. So let's see what is a partnership agreement. Although it is not legal necessary to draw up a partnership agreement, when forming a partnership, it is advisable to do so. Drawing up an agreement can avoid misunderstanding and arguments later. The clause of partnership agreement cover many aspects of the business. Those relating to accounting usually include the following. So let's see one by one what is partnership agreement and what are the things should be there in a partnership agreement. Amount of capital invested by each partner. Partners do not need to invest equal amounts. They can invest different amount. So in newer syllabus, one particular thing I want to remind, there's no goodwill adjustment. According to new IGCS and Cambridge Oral syllabus, on your previous papers, you would see there as a goodwill adjustment on partners. But then the recent papers are saying because you have a limited time to do, they have reduced the level of goodwill adjustment. But then they can ask what is goodwill and how it is to be adjusted on the books. But then they don't go that deeper. So just remembering the term goodwill is more than enough to score on your papers. Then let's move on to the point of partnership agreement. Amount of capital invested by each partner. Partners do not need to invest equal amounts. They don't want to put the entire money into the business. They can put different amount of money. Then they are saying how profits and losses are to be shared. So how do you share the profits and losses? Profit and losses may be shared equally in proportion to capital invested or in some other ratio. So when you are taking a profit and losses sharing thing, each partner has a different way of, every partnership has a different way of sharing the profit. One person can agree within a ratio base. We say that profit sharing ratio. I'll be teaching you how profit sharing ratio works when we are doing the appropriation accounting. If interest on partners capital is to be paid, and if so, and what rate. So every partners have some sort of rate, like how much interest they should be paid. This interest what they are paying on capital is known as interest on capital. So every partnership has a rate like 10%, 20%. Based on the rate, the partners should be paid this interest on capital. The interest is a reward for investing in the business rather than elsewhere. If all partners invest the same amount, it may not be necessary to pay interest. Where partners invest different amount, interest can be form of compensation to the person who has invested most capital. So the partners can agree and then come to an interest rate, how much a partner should get an interest on the investment what they make. And the next thing, if partner salaries are to be paid, and if so, what amount? Does not specifically an amount. The business can decide how much work and responsibility each partner is carrying, and based on that, they can decide a salary pay. If all partners share the work and responsibility equally, it might not be necessary to pay salaries. A salary can be formed and compensated where one partner has a greater share of the work and responsibility. So, if one partner is working a lot, then of course that partner should be paid a salary. Then the next part it says that if an upper limit is to be placed on partners' drawings, and if so, what amount? So if they are basing like a limit, like how much the amount of drawings they can make to reduce the level of drawings, like every business try to keep the drawings as low as possible. You might say the business will benefit if partners keep drawings as low as possible, because then they have invested, they take the money out of the business always, then of course the business will lose everything what they have anytime. So they should be very careful when they are taking the money out of the business. Then there's like to discourage the level of drawings. They have said that they need to charge an interest on drawings. If interest on partners' drawings is to be charged, and if so, at what rate? This is a method of discouraging partners from making drawings from the business, especially early in the financial year. Interest on the amount withdrawn is calculated from the date of withdrawal until the end of the financial year. So when a person is taking the money out of the business, that person is discouraged by pulling off an interest on that particular thing. So the person will not be taking a lot of money out of the business. If interest on partner's loan is to be paid, and if so, at what rate? So if you are paying a loan on interest, now for example, a partner can give a loan and he can retire from the partner. What you need to know when it comes to partnership is about admission and a retirement. So this admission retirement most of the time is tested on your old papers. If you are doing 7110, you might see a partner is getting admitted on the beginning and moving out at the end. But then these IGCSE and Cambridge recent papers are not going that deeper, but then they have admissions and retirement, but not with goodwill adjustments. So let's move on to the topic. So if you are a person who's leaving out of the business, most of the time you might give loan, or even if you are in the business, you might give loan from the interested from the capital what you have invested, or you might give additional loan. So when you give additional loan, how do we record it in the books of accounting? It's very easy. When you give a loan, your capital account will become most of the time it will be sometimes you can debit your capital account and send those money to the financial statement as a loan when you're retiring. But then there's another way, like you can put additional money to the business as a loan and you get interest on loan in every business. So there are two scenarios. One is you give the loan and you get some sort of return on interest on loan on the sum, or you might give a what to say, you might leave out of the business and give your money as a loan and leave out of the business, and you get paid an interest after getting a retirement. So these are two ways you can be tested on your exams most probably. Let's move on to the next topic, loans from partners. So it says that a partnership may borrow money from one of the partners if extra finance is required, particularly if it is needed for a fixed period of time. Loans from partners are not part of the capital of the business and are treated in the same way as any other loan. Unlike investing additional capital, money lent to a partnership business by a partner will be repaid at any agreed time. Interest on the loan is a business expense and is not affected by the amount of profit or loss. So as I said that when a partner is giving the loan, he can give additional money from the business, or he can give money when he is leaving out of the business from his capital account. He can transfer those value to the financial statement. So when they do that, how do we record these things? We will be looking in a while. So moving on to the next part, what do you have? We have the double entries, how to record when you obtain a loan. When a loan is obtained from a partner, debit the bank account, credit loan from partner X account. So when you are receiving money from a partner, actually the business is receiving some money, so bank account will become debit and partner's loan account will become credit. That's a ledger account double entry. When a loan is repaid to a partner, debit loan from partner X account and credit bank account, money is paid from the bank account. So bank account will become credited and debit loan from partner X account, like then the partner's account should be debited. Interest on loan paid, debit interest on loan account, credit bank account. So when you pay an interest, you are debiting the interest on loan account and crediting the bank account because money is going out of the business, but then interest on bank loan account is an expense for the business. That's the reason we are recording it on the debit side. So if you do not know these debits and credits, there's a chapter called accounting equations, chapter 4, which I have done for local students, but then this can be learned anytime for anyone. So that is there below this description. So click the link and you can learn it completely at free cost. Interest on loan due not but not paid, debit interest on loan account, credit partner X current account. If they have not paid the loan, then of course the loan interest they should be credited to the current account. I'll be showing how this current account and capital account actually works. We can either go with this format, but then I'll go with the textbook. On if you want another video, I can go on my own format, the easy way. But then I'll go in this format because this is the appropriate manner the examiners are requesting you to do. The preparation of profit and loss appropriation account of a partnership business. So where should you start the appropriation account. The appropriation account should start from the profit and loss account. And you would have done in your exams like the profit and loss account. You would have learned financial statements, right? So if you are not learned, then of course it's going to be hard when you're learning this. So you need to go to chapter number 8 and chapter number, I think, yeah, chapter number 8 and chapter number 9 to have a look on how financial statement actually works. So let me move on to the spreadsheet and explain you how this appropriation starts. So to show you the format, how it is actually working. Here you can see my lap is a bit slow. Let me draw a appropriation account, guys. So how do we start an appropriation account? Remember, when you start an appropriation account, you should start always with the profit and loss amount. Okay, so I'm gonna take here. You would have done financial statement. So with that scope of knowledge, I'm gonna take you. I'm not gonna teach you the entire financial statement for your knowledge. I'm gonna start from the point. We'll have a complete view on what we need to do on this sum. So when you are doing in exams, they can either ask profit and loss appropriation account, or they can ask appropriation account in the exam. So if they ask profit and loss appropriation account, how are you going to learn? Like when you're doing the 2019 below 7110 papers, most of the time, or the old papers of 0452, you will go through this problem of finding out which type of like why they are not asking appropriation. Why are they asking completely? Because on those calculations they gave 40 marks for your paper calculation, but then now they are not giving 40 marks, they are only giving 20 marks. So most of the time they might either ask a profit and loss account along with appropriation, means they won't ask current account and capital account. If they ask appropriation account, trust me, they will ask current account and capital account. But earlier you need to prepare profit and loss account, appropriation account, current account, capital account, and financial statements to get 40 marks. So here I'm going to explain you profit and loss and appropriation account together for your knowledge, because you might do old past papers as well. So I'll start with the first thing. You will always have in a profit and loss account sales, which is the revenue. I'm just taking the small part of this. I'm not going to go deep into this. And you will have deduction, which is cost of sales. Under cost of sales, you have opening stock plus purchases minus closing stock. So I'm not going to take those things, but then for your understanding, I'm just putting some deduction value. Then after you deduct this value, you get something called gross profit, right, guys? So once you get gross profit, I'm not yet done with the sum. You have something to add in this. We said as other income. So you add this other income along with gross profit, and then you deduct all your expenses, right? So deduct all your expenses. So once you deduct all your expenses, you get something in return to the business. That balance is what we say net profit, right, guys? So this net profit is the amount you should start the appropriation from. Now, if they ask in exams where the appropriation is starting, you need to remember from the net profit point only the appropriation sum is completely starting. So from after net profit, the calculation what you're going to go through is a part of appropriation accounting. So then what other things should come on appropriation accounting is what students ask from us. So let's move on to appropriation accounting, the format. So I'm going to draw this format. So if you all also have a pen and a pencil, it's much better, so you can copy this down easily. So I'm not going as per the textbook. I'm just teaching you my format. Then we'll move on to the textbook and do the sum on the textbook. So it will be easy for us to understand and get a good knowledge on what we are actually doing. So let's move on to the content we have. So we have here I can start from net profit. Most of the time in exams they might give net profit, but then here we can start interest on drawings. It's a addition to the business, because I can just take 2-3 partners, but I'll take just 2 partners here. Interest on drawings partner A and partner B. So there are 2 partners. I can show here it has a plus. Why it is a plus, guys? The reason when interest has been charged from the partner, the business is getting the money from the partner. So from partner's point of view, it is a deduction for them, but on business point of view, it is an addition to the business. So it's an addition which we will be adding. Then after adding this, what are we going to take? Let me put this in this way. Interest on drawings. Then we have interest on capital. So we will deduct this because this is something which is given to the partners. So partners are entitled to receive capital interest on capital. So it's an enjoyment for them because they're receiving capital. So here it will be a deduction, guys. I can show it as a deduction on this side as well. So then we have the next part. So here also I'll represent as A partner and B partner. Then we have interest on, we can write the salaries paid. Or can write it as salaries. Right here, A and B. Sometimes one person will be paid, not the both parties will get. And again, it's a deduction for the business because the business should pay these people salaries. So it will be shown as a deduction. Guys, you need to be very patient when you're doing with me because my lap is a bit slow like me. I hope so. Then we move on to the next part. The salaries is paid. And the final part which we are going to discuss is the profit sharing ratio. So how does this profit sharing ratio work? With the like in exams, they might say that the business invested 50,000 or 100,000, or they will say a ratio. Like the business has been considered with the ratio of 2:3, 5:3, 5:2, something. Or they might say from the amount of invested capital. So there are two ways to find profit share ratio. So this is profit share ratio, means the final value of categorizing your profits. How do we divide this profit into two particular manner? So let me move on to the profit sharing ratio. Number one, what do we have under profit sharing ratio? Either they will give the ratio. This is one example. They might give 5:2 or something. Example, right? Like this. They say A and B has a profit sharing ratio of 5:2. So 5 means A, 2 is I can write 5:2:3. Then we have another other way of saying that A invested with the amount of capital invested profit sharing ratio can be found. So now for example, if A invested 200,000, B invested 300,000. Now we can find the ratio. Both are 200,000 is 2 and 3, because we can divide both by 100,000. So when we divide both by 100,000, we'll get A is equal to B is equal 3. So this is how we find the profit sharing ratio. But then after finding the profit sharing ratio, how do we calculate profit sharing ratio? There's a question. Now these are very major questions students go through in exams. So if you watch this video until the last moment, partnership is going to be very, very easy. But then you need to watch the entire video. You can learn it again and again whenever you have time. Just come and look into this video. This will be very helpful for you to score better on partnership. So then moving on to this content, now you might see here, this is how you calculate the profit sharing ratio. These two methods they can give you in exams, but how to calculate profit sharing ratio? Sharing ratio. I'm going to take an example when we are taking the business had a profit of 60,000. Maybe here they got an amount of 60,000. After deducting, they got an amount of 60,000. Now I'm going to divide this under profit share. They got a profit of 6,000. Sometimes they might even get loss. So if you are getting profit, we say as profit share. Sometimes either you can get a loss. So after recording profit share, now how do I record this? Let me put the format properly. Okay, so this 60,000, I'm gonna divide it into 5. Now this 2 plus 3, we're saying A is equal 2 and B is equal 3, right guys? So I'm gonna add these two together. 2 plus 3 is going to be how much, guys? It's going to be 5. So I'm gonna take the 60,000, and divide it by 5. Now listen to this very carefully. And one person is going to get like one ratio is going to get 12,000. So if I'm going to multiply A ratio, I can take in this way 60,000 divide by 5 into 2. This is the other way I can take. So which is 24,000. Or I can take 12,000 and multiply it into 2. And when I'm taking the B profit share, I will take 60,000. I'll divide it by 5 and multiply it into 3. So I get a value of 36,000. So altogether it's 60,000. So I'll show here profit share. A has a profit share of how much, guys? 24,000. And B has a profit share of 36,000. So I'll take these values. 24 plus 36 is going to be 60,000. I'm going to deduct. Finally, you should represent in the sum a value of how much? You should represent a value of 0. That's how the sum ends finally. So if you don't represent 0, then of course you are wrong. Then of course you are wrong. It's better to show the 0 for the examiner. So examiner knows you got a final balance of 0. So that's how the sum should end and look like, guys. So I'm going to take this value. You can see the complete format on what I have done all this time. So to have a complete view on what we had done, what we had did. So you can see here, this is what I was doing. I did profit and loss account. Then I explained you how an appropriation works along with the profit and loss account. So recording this profit and loss along with appropriation is a very important thing. But these values which I have represented should be transferred to current account. Whatever you are doing under appropriation account should be transferred to account called current account. And capital account adjustment doesn't come into this except the interest on capital. How do you calculate? We need to see the capital account, and loan transfer is also important to get to consider the capital account. We can move on to the sum and have a look on how this sum is actually working. But then you know I have not done the loan account adjustment, so I'm going to show you how loan account adjustment works in this particular area. So let me explain you how this works. So now normally a loan account adjustment cannot be deducted or if there's a loan interest which should be deducted, it should be deducted before the net profit. So here there is an expense column which I have used. So loan adjustment should be only done before the net profit. So if they are in exams, they will say the loan amount was not paid or loan amount was not be deducted. So if they say something like that, then of course you need to add something like this before getting the net profit. They might have, or they might give something the net profit before loan and interest. So you need to calculate the loan, then deduct that from the net profit. It's another way you can do. Either you can deduct from here, like from the net profit. If they are not deduct the loan, you can write loan interest, net profit. So they might give like this, net profit before loan and interest. So you calculate the loan interest. So they have the net profit before loan and interest, and you need to deduct the loan and interest on the sum. So once you deduct the loan interest, you will get the net profit. I hope you understood how it works, guys. So from here only the sum again will start. So remember, if there's a loan interest, they might give maybe 80,000 into 5%, which is going to be 400. Yeah, 80,000 into 5% is going to be 4,000 most of the time. So those amount also you can calculate under net profit before loan and interest. You deduct and you find the net profit. From that onwards only the appropriation account starts to play. So let's move on to the sum and let's see what they have given. Here the profit and loss appropriation account for the financial year is prepared after the income statement shows how the profit for the year is shared between the partners. The profit for the year is transferred to this account from the income statement. Any interest on drawings charged to the partners increases the amount available to share, and this must be added to the profit. The appropriation profit shares detailed in partnership agreement for interest on capital and partner salaries are deducted. The remaining figure is known as residual profit and is shared between the partner in the agreed profit sharing ratio. So what is the residual profit after deducting and adding all the business, I mean the partner's expenses? The remaining balance what we divided to profit share ratio is known as residual profit. Then let's move on to the sum. So we can directly start a current account and a capital account. Let me see how they have done in this textbook. Let me have a look on this. So with the knowledge which we have gained, we are going to do the walkthrough 19.1. Sumit and Padma in partnership, their financial year ends on 31st May. They provide the following information. Capital on June 2008 is Sumit 40,000, Padma 20,000. Drawings for the year ended 31st May 2019, Sumit 11,000, Padma 8,000. Profit for the year ended 31st 2009 is 24,650. 24,680. So now I'm going to prepare three accounts along with this current account, capital account, and also appropriation account to show you. But then to before moving on to current account and capital account, I just need to show you the format. But then along with this, I can explain you the entire format. So let's do this together. So here they have given, you can see here on this sum, they have done the appropriation account, and also they have explained about what is the capital account and what is the current account. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to draw out the like the same thing what they're given on that is also represented on the walkthrough 19.2. We don't want to refer the walkthrough 19.2 like this and do one by one. I'm going to take walkthrough 19.1 and I'm going to prepare the entire thing, which is on page number 281, 282, and 283. So listening to one particular adjustment is more than enough to save your time. So timing is very important. So let's move on to the way which you're going to learn the partnership in a different manner. So capital on 1st June 2008. So we have two things to start with capital. One is 40,000 and to 20,000. So I'm going to open up a capital account to represent this. So let me move on to my sum and draw up a capital account. Remember guys, capital account is always going to start with the credit side, right? So, but I need to put the format. How do I draw a capital account? Date details, most of the time two partners. Date details, most of the time two partners. That's all. So I'm going to write, I'm going to put some borders and write date details, Padma and Sumit. Let me see what are the names they had. Padma and Sumit. So I can write Sumit and Padma because Sumit is investing more and he's coming first. So we always remember the first name what they're using is the name which we should represent at the beginning. And again, the date details Sumit and Padma. Remember, guys, the debit side and the credit side are also there on the partnership. This side you are seeing from my end. This is the debit side of a capital account, and this side which was seeing is the credit side of the capital account. So you should be able to find out which side is debit and credit when you're doing the sum. As ledger account, this is also looking similar way, but then this is like in a proper format, right? So it's a bit different than what we have done. So I'm gonna draw up this properly. Yeah, I'll write. You don't want to have this much big. I can write a small one most of the time. Yeah, I'll write capital account. So I'm going to draw a financial statement also. Most of the time, capital account brought forward balances will be on this side. So brought forward balances, or you can write invested balances or bank, whatever it is they are given on the sum. And then, like if you have a goodwill adjustment, like when you are sending for loan, when you are retiring from the partner, you can put loan here, for example, and you can write the loan amount here. Maybe if Sumit is transferring the entire amount, like the carried down balances, that loan amount you should send to the loan account in financial statement. That's how we do for loan adjustment. But in the textbook, they are not given the loan adjustment. When we are doing the past papers, in future, when I upload past papers, you will know how I'm adjusting the loans. And this loan adjustment is a complete important thing because it comes once in a blue moon, but then shouldn't feel confused. So if it is a loan, it comes on the capital side, capital account debit side, and credit it in the financial statement. Under non-current liability or current liability, they'll say the loan is 5 year or 1 year. Less than 1 year means the current liability, more than 1 year means the non-current liability. So I hope you guys understand this particular thing. Let's have a look on the date, what they have taken on 1st June 2008. So I'm going to take 1st June 2008 as balance brought down 1st June 2008. Okay, so that's how we are done. So I can write 2008, or either I can write it as they are given. So now the broad code balances. What is the balance they are taken? 40,000 and 20,000. So I'm going to take 40,000 on the credit side, Sumit, 20,000 on Padma. So that's all, guys. Capital account is done. Easy as that. So carry down balances. If you are going to transfer these balances, you should make carry down. So I will just put two uh, complete total column and keep, so it's easy for us to prepare it later to transfer the value to the financial statement, because with this sum I'm going to even transfer these values to the financial statement. So you don't want to go one by one. With this walkthrough 19.1 itself we can finish the entire thing, right? So I'm going to copy this and paste it. So now we are almost done. Capital account. Now I'm going to draw the current account, because they want me to draw the current account and appropriation account. But then I'll draw a current account for your concern, so it's easy for us to work on it. Here I'll write current account. Remember, guys, there's a format for current account. Remember, the interest on drawings can come on the credit side as well. I mean, interest on drawings will come on the debit side, but then drawings also should be taken under current account, not under capital account. But students get confused is they think that drawings should be taken under the capital account, but then you should not take under capital account. It should be done under current account. So you will have the same columns which we wrote: date, details, Sumit and Padma, and again date, details, Sumit and Padma. So after recording this, you need to understand one particular thing, like whatever the appropriation account you are adding, like whatever you are deducting there on the appropriation account, you can remember these values which we deducted, like interest on capital, salaries, profit share, this is also deduction. So all these values should be represented under, it should be shown under current account as a increase on the credit side, but on the other side, like when you are taking the current account debit side things, whatever you are adding here, it should be a debit side part of the current account. So remember, in appropriation account, whatever you are adding, you should deduct from the current account. How do we deduct? We deduct from the debit side, and whatever you are adding, I mean deducting here on the appropriation account, in current account you should add on the credit side. That's how it works, guys. That's simple it is when you are learning this particular thing. So now let's move on to the part. Now you can see here what are the things we will be adding on the credit side. So interest on drawing should be deducted because it is deducted on the debit side. So this is current account debit side. Understanding. Then interest on capital is a deduction, which means it is credit side current account and addition. Then if you see salaries, again it's a deduction, which means current account credit side. And if you see here, profit share is also deduction, so current account credit side. So that's how we find which side it should come, credit side or debit side. Let's move on to the sum, but then I need to draw up appropriation account as well, so it's easy for me to do the calculation. So I'll start from here. Same format is going to be taken. I copied this format for my convenience because they took only 2 partners. Sometimes on old papers you might see 3 partners. No worries, guys, don't get messed up. 3 partners are also the same format they're gonna carry. So it's going to be the similar way which we are going to do now. So I'm gonna put the format alignment. So I'm going to show you the complete view on what we are going to do. So if you want, if you want me to take the current account, capital account, I can take this side, so you will have complete view on what I'm doing. So I'll put it here. So you have a complete picture of what I'm going to do, right, guys? So here in exams, they will give a topic. It's Sumit and Padma's business. Like here, Sumit and Padma partnership. Asset, like they will give asset. When is the year? They will give. But as they are giving in the exams, I don't want you to remember these particular topics. That's not that important. So let's move on to the sum now. I'm gonna erase this off. I'm going to transfer these values into this current account and capital account in a way which you can understand. So let's start. Current account, you got 130 on the credit side and 910 on the debit side. So debit side means Padma has taken more money out of the account than she should take from the account. So 910 I will represent on the debit side on Padma's account, current account. So let me zoom a bit so we'll have a complete view on what I am doing. So Padma has 910, right guys, on the debit side. And Sumit has a value of 130 on the credit side. So that's easy. We have recorded. Then we have drawings. We have 11,000 on the debit side and 8,000 on the credit side. So I will record drawings 11,000 on the debit side. I mean both are on the debit side because it's drawings. So it's both it's both debit side 11,000 and 8,000 on the debit side because it's drawings. So you should represent drawings 11,000. You should always say the values drawings 11,000 and 8,000. Yeah, so it's done. So they are all are doing on 31st May. So it's not an important thing to put the dates. If you feel like it's better, you need to write the dates. Here you can write the brought forward date, 1st June 2000, like we did earlier. Same way you can show here date. I'll make this column a bit bigger. So okay, so this should be in date, not details. So here I'll write brought forward. Here also I'll write brought forward. And here the final date 31st June 2000. I think it's a monthly statement which they are preparing, if I'm not mistaken. Yearly statement. So 31st May 2009 they have taken. 31st May 2009. So we are almost done with the sum. Then we are going to move on to the next part of the adjustment. So we have interest on drawings 330 and 240. Normally in exams they will give the percentage, 2%, 5%. So you need to calculate and take. But in this question they are taken directly 330 and 240. So how do you represent this? You can represent first under interest on drawings under appropriation account 330 and 240. It's an addition because it's a good thing for the business. They are charging it. So it's altogether 570. Here you can show it on the debit side because it is addition. It should be deducted under current account. Under Padma and Sumit, you can write the same date. Interest on drawings. Don't write short terms when you are learning, guys. So I'll write here 330 and 240. Easy as that. So after recording this, then I'm moving on to the next adjustment. What do you have? Interest on capital 2000 and 1000. So interest on capital should be a deduction under appropriation account. So 2000 and 1000. So I'm gonna take here 2000. So interest on capital is going to be 2000 and 1000. So I'm gonna take this as a deduction. So deduction in value should be deducted from the net profit. So 2000 is a deduction, 1000 is a deduction. So I'll take these values 2000 and 1000 under profit for Sumit and Padma. The date can be the last day of the year, which is interest on capital. After recording this, I'm not yet done, so I need to write the values 2000 and 1000. So then almost done. We are moving on to the next part. In partner salary, you might say Sumit is not taking a partner salary. Maybe he's not that actively working on the partnership. But then Padma is taking a partner salary of 9,500. So I will record in Padma's account 9,500 as salary. You can write for here. I'll keep it as dash. But in here I will write 9,500 as a value. So 9,500 should be deducted. Here the value I have forgot to write 3,000 in total. So almost done. Then we have profit share to do, but then I need write here salary. Whose salary? Padma's. Again, the last day of the month. Here. So moving on to the profit share. What do we have? Profit share also they have given, so 8,500 and 4,250. Now my concern, have they given like, which means they are not given a net profit here on the sum, they have just given the profit share. So we just need to put the profit share and finalize it. So I'll write here the profit share is going to be 8,500. So they are given in exams, they won't give like that, and 4,500. They will give a value. You need to find the values in total. Once you deduct from this value from the net profit, you will get the value as final value as this, which is 13,000, right? 13,000. So here you should get a value of once you deduct all these things, you will get a value of 13,000. So you should deduct this 13,000, finally you get a value of 0. That's how the sum should be. So profit share, I'll write here 13,500, 8,500 and 4,500. In exams, they won't give this such type of calculation. Now, let me move on to the textbook and show you 4,250 they are given. So, I have made a small calculation mistake. 4,250. Here, 4,250. So, 8,500 plus 4,250 is going to be 12,750. So, here I will record 12,750. Right? Easy as that. So now we are almost done with the current account, but then I need to take the final value. So I need to take the total column. So for that, I put one more box. Then finally, I'll be transferring these values to the financial statement. Let me show you the textbook, and this, then you will have a complete idea on what I'm doing. Guys, that's a small thing which we need to consider, because in walkthrough 19.1, they have given the profit as 24,680, which we spoke now. But then I have taken walkthrough 19.2 in my all calculations. So when I'm doing this, like when you all are attempting it, you can see here they are given the profit here in walkthrough. Profit for the year is 24,680, and all the calculation also given here. This calculation which they are given on walkthrough 19.2 is the calculation which they are given here. So you can I can also calculate and show interest on capital. How do we got this? Padma is 40,000, so 40,000 to 5% is going to be 2,000. Sumit and Padma's 20,000 into 5% is going to be 1,000, and interest on drawings is charged at 3%, which means 11,000 into 3% is what we got 330, and 8,000 into 3%, which we got 240. And then the next thing they are given salary has also been given 9,500. So how did we find the share residual value of share profit? As I showed you in the working, let me show you how we got this 8,250 and these values. So I'll deduct this value. Hold on for a while. Take 24,680 and then show you how it works, guys. There's no loan interest, so which means I will take the net profit here plus 570 is going to be 25,250. And then I'm going to deduct 3,000, which is going to be 22,350. Then I have 9,500 to be deducted, so 22,350 minus 9,500 will give me a value of 12,750. So how did I take this profit share A's to B? They have taken as per the capital invested. So Sumit invested 40,000. So 40,000 and Padma invested 20,000. So we can go as per the ratio of 4:2, because that's how the rates represent. So Sumit is to Padma can represent, we can both divide by 10,000. So 4:2 is going to be the rate. So I'm going to take, it's showing like a time, guys. So now I'm going to take 4:2 as a rate. So here 4:2. So now how do we take 4:2? Now this 12,750 for Sumit's profit share. I will take 40,000. I mean 12,750 divide by 6, because 4 is to 2 is an addition, so 4 plus 2 is 6. So if you divide 12,750 divide by 6 into 4, you will get the value of 8,500. And then when you are taking Padma's profit share, you take 12,750 divide by 6 into 4, you will get 4,250. So this is how we got these values, which you can see here. So I hope don't follow walkthrough 19.1. 19.2 is what I have taken. Only for profit share ratio, I have gone to 19.1 and taken these values. Now we are going to transfer this entire value into the balance sheet. But then before we transfer, we need to finalize our current account and capital account. You can see here the 40,000 balance. There is no loan transfer. So I can take directly these values, 20,000. Here I'll write carry it down on the year end. We can write carry it down on the year end, or carry it forward, whatever is correct. So you can write carry it down or carry it forward. You can write 40,000 and you can write 20,000. Now I'm going to take these values also on the debit and credit side. I see this side as higher. Let's say see 10,630, but then this side is higher than that Sumit side. You can see it is 11,330. So I'm going to take 11,330 in both sides. First of all, which means this side is lack of value. What is the amount they have taken here? Which means the drawings has increased 10,630. So the carried forward is going to be here. The 10,430, we should deduct from 11,330, 10,630. So we will get a balance of 700 as carried forward. And then we move on to the next part to see Padma's, which side is higher. I feel like the credit side is higher, which is 14,750 when you add all these three. So you'll get 14,750. So I'll bring that value to the debit side as well, 14,750. Now I'm going to find the carried forward to this Padma. You can see 8,910 plus 8,000 plus 240 will give me 9,150, which means I'm going to take 14,750, deduct 9,150. I'll get a value of 5,100. Just to confirm that I take 9,150 yes. So I get a value of 5,600. So now how do I represent this value in financial statement? It's better you represent it in this way, because there are two methods you can select, but I will always recommend to go with the current accounts method. This method is much important. Like you can take the direct values rather than going one by one. You can also take one by one, but then it takes a lot of time. So I will not suggest anyone to follow that format in the textbook. I will always request you guys to go on a direct way. If you have a current account to represent, so it's better you represent in this way. So yeah, I'm going to draw the financial position of the business. I'm not gonna take the three columns, but for your understanding, I'm gonna show you how it works. So statement of financial position. Remember, I'm not gonna draw the entire thing. So I'm gonna say it as extract of statement of financial position. So what is extract, guys? Extract means only representing that particular area. So here I can write non-current assets. Then I have current assets, but then I'm not representing anything for your understanding. Then we have total assets. So under this, we have the current account and capital account under capital column. So here, we will have total assets column. Here you will have capital account. As capital account, what are the names of the people? Sumit and Padma. So bring those values directly here. 40,000 and 20,000 from the capital account. So I'm transferring those values from the capital account to here as 60,000. You can see here from capital account I have taken this value, and this carried forward which I'm seeing here. One is on the which is going to come on brought forward on the credit side, which is 5,600. Other one is which is going to come on the debit side, which is 700. So which is not like if you are showing a debit side balance in capital account, you should deduct this. So how do you deduct this? Current, you will put current account. You will write Sumit is going to be deduction. So I'll write here 700 as deduction. And then here, what do we have? We have Padma. I can write 5,600. So when I add this both values, I'm going to get a value of I'm going to get a value of 4,900. So this is how I'm going to represent, and I will recommend this is how you should represent the capital on the exam. So 64,900. And then there's no loan account which is given on the paper, but then in exams they can test for your understanding. If they test in exam, this is how you should write. If there's a loan account from the capital account, you should adjust and show it under non-current liability or current liability based on the requirement. So here I'll write non-current liability for an example. So for example, if Padma has given a loan, show here the value. So that's all guys. So I hope you guys understood partnership. Let me check, is this the way they have done? But then we'll have a complete look on what we have done on the sums. So this is a complete view on what we were doing all this time. So we did the appropriation account. Then I taught you how appropriation account takes place. I spoke about capital account and current account, how you record statement of financial position. So this is a complete overview of the sum which we have done all this time. So taking this into one format, of course, it's very hard, guys. But then this is how you need to do it in exams also. So then partnership comes to an end. I hope you guys understood the entire partnership. This is how I have given the formats and how to calculate profit share. Everything was done. So let me have a look on the textbook to see have they done in the same way which we have done. So almost like similar values, you see. They have taken Sumit's only account, but then you will not get values like this. So if you have done is correct method, then we prepared the financial position. Also, finally, we got the answer as we know. So we have completed the partnership accounting. So if you all have any doubts, you can comment on the comment section. And if you want more videos on other chapters, please comment. And if you really like this, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also leave a comment. And the like button is just there, so click a like. When you can also share these videos to your friends, because it's free cost. You can learn the entire syllabus soon. Have a nice day, guys.